Good morning. So something I wanted to jump on here really quickly because this came up. I had shared a video, if you go back and scroll through a couple of videos, of a horse that had been passed off to an unsuspecting buyer, and the horse turned out to not be at all okay with humans, and certainly not what she was advertised as. And someone had watched on a different platform the video and was talking about how it was a slow motion of what we'll call traditional round penning. And so I tried to break down in the discussion, in our back and forth, of how it's about getting the horse mentally engaged, interrupting patterns that the horse has developed as far as mentally fleeing, and then physically trying to avoid human interaction because of her previous traumatic experiences. And this person kept staying fixated on, no, but it's round penning. No, but it's how they round pen. You're using pressure. So then as we delved in deeper, they brought up the concept of force. You're still using force. So we didn't go into the place of talking about food or treats or other ways of interacting, but the point that I was making is any form of anything with the horse is using pressure to communicate with them. And I take it even to the degree of those people who want to go out and sit in the pasture with their horse, even if they have no agenda and they have no intention of like forcing the horse to do anything or to comply, by walking into that pasture and sitting, they are creating spatial pressure towards the horse. Now, let's say we took the mare that you see in the video from a couple days ago, and we were to go in and sit with her. You could very much send her to as far away a possible place, despite you not having the intention to force anything upon her. So something that this brings up is thinking about the words in which we're using and how we're defining them based on our previous experiences. And I find a lot of people use a lot of words, but they don't really break down the specific definition that word has, to them in meaning during the horse interaction. So in my example of if we sat down in the pen, then whether it's a big pasture or a round pen or any other area, you are creating pressure, spatial pressure towards a horse. Now, if that horse is not fearful and hasn't had traumatic experiences and still has curiosity, it's going to be a completely different experience than for the horse who has been aggressively, abusively trained, we'll say, and is fearful and defensive towards people. So you can do the same behavior without having an intention, without having an agenda, without trying to make anything happen, and yet be giving the horse a completely different outcome. So this is also something that I want you to think about as far as if we're taking this example in sitting in the pen, is that when you go to sit in the pen, yes, spatially, you're creating a certain amount of pressure, if you will, but also what is your mental and emotional state if we were to just sit in the pen with no agenda? Because if you're mentally chaotic, or you're hopeful, or you're emotionally chaotic, or you're hopeful, you are sending off energy, whether or not you mean it, towards the horse. So you are still communicating, meaning you are still using force to communicate with the horse. So my big question of the day is, what exactly is this definition or this idea or this concept of force-free pressure when people are saying it? Now, sometimes I see the answer is using food or using treats as an incentive to horses. And for me, when I see that, that is still a form of force. We are still creating pressure. We are creating mental association and often anticipation in order to get a certain response. So for the folks that are telling me that it's not about how we move our bodies and that we stay still and let the horse come to us because they are searching for that food reward, you are still using pressure to communicate.